how you gonna get mad at us and talk about you love the coach and you mad at us, but you always talking, you don't want to talk shit about the coach the most? And the guy was like, man, I should beat your ass.
Michael Jordan just made waves after calling out Andre Iguodala for disrespecting him. What seemed like a comment turned into a full-blown controversy. And behind it, there's a story about legacy few are willing to tell, and I've got every detail they aren't showing you. Iggy's self-check. Why he rejects Hall of Fame status. Andre Iguodala's recent comments on the Hall of Fame shine a rare spotlight on humility in a game obsessed with accolades. Despite a long and decorated career, 4x NBA champion, Finals MVP, all defensive nods, Iguodala explicitly said he doesn't consider himself a Hall of Famer. He explained that many enshrined players had near-flawless resumes, implying that the benchmark for greatness must be extremely high. Iguodala believes the Hall should be reserved for a select few who reached a different plane of dominance.
And then I always say, like, I talked about the top 75 list. I always say, like, there's guys in the Hall of Fame that I feel like I think I'm better than him. And I'm not trying to be cocky. Like, I think I'm better than that guy. He's in the Hall of Fame. But there are guys who are not in the Hall of Fame that are better than me.
By rejecting his own case, Iguodala draws a boundary. Championships and longevity alone, in his mind, don't automatically equal elite all-time status. He acknowledged his flaws, suggesting that greatness isn't just about titles or tenure, but about peak performance, consistency, and perhaps a kind of transcendence rarely sustained over decades. His stance challenges the common assumption that rings plus career length, Hall of Fame. Instead, he argues for nuance, a tiered evaluation system where being good or very good doesn't necessarily place you among the immortals. This kind of self-awareness is unusual in an environment where self-promotion and legacy building often go hand in hand. By drawing the line himself, Iguodala invites fans and analysts to re-examine what criteria truly define legend status, separating raw statistics and team success from individual dominance and era-defining impact. Tiered greatness. Why Iguodala thinks some legends need their own level. Iguodala's proposal of tiers for the Hall of Fame offers a provocative framework. Not all legendary players belong in the same class. He argues that figures like Jordan, and by extension, those with a level of dominance and cultural impact that transcends eras, deserve their own, almost mythic tier. In his view, comparing them directly to players from different eras or roles diminishes what made them unique.
Who are the smartest guys you played with? Both of you guys. Andre Miller. Andre Miller taught me so much where he was soft-spoken, didn't say much. So when he spoke, it was funny because he had a different type of voice to be from Watts. Like, he from the real Watts, like Training Day. Like, it's only one way in.
I've seen the movie.
This tiered model reflects a growing awareness that the game evolves. Rules shift, playstyle changes, athleticism and training improve. As basketball transforms, the meaning of greatness can't stay static. Iguodala suggests that instead of forcing everyone into a single category, the Hall should reflect the diversity of excellence: defenders, role players, versatile contributors, all-time stars. By differentiating legends across tiers, this approach preserves respect for all contributors, from the super elites to the elite role players. It acknowledges that while not everyone can be the singular best ever, many can still be celebrated for their excellence, role, and era-specific impact. This could bring clarity to debates and reduce polarizing comparisons. In doing so, Iguodala doesn't devalue the greats. He honors them by reserving a space for different worlds, making greatness more meaningful, not diluted. Honoring Jordan. Why Iggy still calls MJ the ultimate benchmark. Even as Iguodala questions the universal application of greatness, he doesn't shy away from defending Michael Jordan's unrivaled legacy. He openly stated that Jordan belongs in his own world, separate from other all-time greats, a recognition that, in his eyes, some players operate on a higher dimensional plane entirely.
Michael Jordan, I met him at training for the draft to get ready for the NBA. I was in the gym and he walked in and was like, "What's up, Drake?" And I was with a friend and he walked out and he was like, "Michael Jordan knows your name?" And I was like, "I don't know." You know, it was like funny experience.
To Iguodala, Jordan's competitiveness, adaptability, clutch performances, and sheer dominance made him peerless. He contends that watching Jordan play was witnessing a level of excellence and consistency that transcended the stat sheet, a kind of heat culture before heat culture, a total commitment to excellence. By framing MJ as unique, Iguodala positions him not just as a great, but as a historical anchor, a standard against which all greatness should be measured. This acknowledgement shows that Iguodala's critiques are not rooted in disrespect, but in a desire for honest evaluation. He isn't denying Jordan's greatness, he's highlighting how exceptional it is, and arguing that some careers simply can't be judged on the same scale. For fans, that may feel like reverence combined with realism, admiration for the legend, and responsibility toward fairness in legacy judgment. When context matters, era, role, and changing standards. At the heart of Iguodala's perspective is this: basketball evolves. The style of play, athletic expectations, training, defensive rules, offensive spacing, all these shift across decades. He argues that greatness should be assessed with full awareness of those contextual differences, not by applying a one-size-fits-all yardstick.
When I was in NBA, like, we didn't have access to all of the things we have now.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you don't know what you don't know. You know, like when I got traded and went to another team and I saw a practice facility for the first time, I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. Like, I could come in here anytime I want. Like, I just had now these guys have access to 4 or 5 gyms.
Iguodala's career, spanning nearly 2 decades, is a testament to adaptability. He played under different systems, at different tempos, with varying roles. For him, success meant adjusting to what the game demanded each season, contributing not just scoring, but defense, leadership, and versatility. He suggests that comparing players from different periods, even elites, is like comparing different sports altogether. Longevity now doesn't carry the same weight it once did. Athleticism, load management, and modern recovery change career arcs, and roles have diversified. A player can be valuable without filling traditional superstar stats by being a defensive anchor or a two-way wing. Therefore, Iguodala argues, legacy discussion should reflect that complexity. Greatness shouldn't rely solely on numbers or championships. It should consider context, role, era, and most importantly, impact relative to those conditions. That way, evaluation becomes fairer and more nuanced. Levels of greatness. Why one size doesn't fit. All Andre Iguodala's advocacy for tiers of greatness reflects a deeper understanding of how the NBA and basketball history should be evaluated. He recognizes what many fans and analysts quietly accept but rarely articulate. Using the same standard to compare players from different generations ignores context. The sport is dynamic, and style, rules, athletic expectations, and team strategies all shift over time. Iguodala argues that greatness is not one size fits all. By trying to lump every standout player into a single Hall of Fame greatness category, traditional assessments risk oversimplifying careers and overlooking the unique contributions of players who thrived under different circumstances. The tiered model he proposes acknowledges these differences while still celebrating excellence at every level.
Top 5, I got 6. My favorite guys.
Expected 6.
I'm not gonna ask Steph. I'm not gonna ask Steph.
All right.
So it's Kobe, Melo, KD, LeBron, and the 5th is a tie. Paul Pierce and Kyrie.
Ooh, snap, word.
This approach does not diminish the accomplishments of anyone. Instead, it places them in perspective. Players like Michael Jordan, whose dominance, clutch performances, and cultural impact were unmatched, would occupy the very top tier. Others, even those with significant achievements, may belong to tiers reflecting different types of influence. For example, elite defenders, versatile role players, or veterans who maintained consistent production over long careers could be recognized in their own right without being unfairly compared to a transcendent superstar. Each player's contributions are weighed relative to their role, team, and era, ensuring that the evaluation of greatness is as nuanced as the game itself. By promoting this tiered system, Iguodala aims to shift conversations from absolutes toward context. The model encourages a more equitable way of honoring legends, giving credit where it's due while avoiding debates over the top player that often devolve into subjective arguments. It also highlights that greatness comes in many forms. A high-scoring offensive powerhouse in one era might not translate perfectly to a modern, defense-oriented two-way wing, yet both can be legendary in their own right. Iguodala's framework respects that diversity, pushing fans and analysts to consider legacy with sophistication, nuance, and fairness, rather than relying on rigid hierarchies or oversimplified metrics. Acknowledging the GOAT, Iggy pays respect to Jordan. Despite questioning the idea of blanket greatness labels, Andre Iguodala has never shied away from recognizing Michael Jordan as the ultimate benchmark in basketball history. Iguodala is vocal and deliberate in placing Jordan in what he describes as his own world, a level so elevated that it stands apart even from other all-time greats. To Iguodala, Jordan represents a rare convergence of factors: elite athleticism, unmatched competitiveness, clutch performances in high-stakes moments, and the ability to dominate on both ends of the floor. This combination, he suggests, creates a tier of greatness that transcends generations and cannot be compared fairly to players from other eras, no matter their accolades or statistics. Jordan, in Iguodala's eyes, is more than just a top player. He is the standard against which all others are measured, a figure whose influence and dominance define the very concept of basketball excellence.
I just can't pick anybody to beat Michael Jordan. Just his competitive nature. He really was like an assassin playing basketball, but he was the most talented and the most...
What makes Iguodala's stance particularly notable is the balance between reverence and rational analysis. While he elevates Jordan above nearly everyone else, his perspective isn't born out of blind fandom or envy. It's an honest appraisal of skill, impact, and legacy. Iguodala seems to believe that greatness can and should be dissected and appreciated through different lenses: individual achievements, cultural influence, consistency, and the ability to perform under pressure. Recognizing Jordan as a singular force doesn't diminish the accomplishments of other players. Instead, it highlights just how rare and extraordinary it is to reach that level of dominance. For fans, analysts, and players alike, Iguodala's dual approach is refreshing. It acknowledges the unparalleled greatness of legends like Jordan, while also encouraging a more nuanced understanding of what greatness means across different eras. By honoring Jordan's place at the pinnacle without oversimplifying history, Iguodala preserves the legacy of iconic players while inviting a thoughtful discussion about the evolution of the game, the shifting standards of excellence, and the subtle distinctions that separate legends from the rest. Era, role, and impact. Why context must shape legacy. At the core of Andre Iguodala's perspective lies a fundamental truth about basketball. The game is constantly evolving. Over the decades, the sport has shifted in pace, athletic demands, defensive rules, and even strategic priorities like load management and positionless basketball. Because of this continual evolution, Iguodala argues that judging players from different eras by the same rigid criteria is inherently flawed. He believes greatness should always be contextual, evaluated relative to the environment in which a player competed. That means asking questions like, what were the rules and style of the league at the time? What role did the player occupy on their team? How strong was the competition? And what were the team dynamics? These considerations, he suggests, are essential for forming an accurate assessment of impact and achievement.
When I signed with the Warriors 2013, I'm saying to myself, I think I've met the closest thing to...
Iguodala's own career provides a practical illustration of this philosophy. Over nearly 2 decades in the NBA, he adapted to a variety of roles, from primary scorer to defensive anchor to a strategic cog on championship-winning teams. His value often extended beyond the box score, encompassing defense, leadership, basketball IQ, and versatility. Iguodala's contributions show that success is not always measured in points or personal accolades, but in the ability to elevate teammates, adapt to changing circumstances, and maintain relevance over time. In many ways, he has lived the principle he preaches. Impact is multifaceted and cannot be reduced to simple statistical comparison. By stressing context, Iguodala challenges the conventional ways legacy lists are often constructed. He suggests that evaluating players strictly by numbers or even championship counts can be misleading because it ignores the unique challenges each era presents. Instead, he advocates for assessments that consider environment, role, team strategy, and the specific obstacles each player overcame. Through this lens, greatness becomes a more meaningful and nuanced concept, one that recognizes differences across time rather than erasing them in pursuit of simplistic comparisons. Iguodala's approach reframes legacy discussions, emphasizing fairness, depth, and respect for the evolving nature of the sport. Before you go, remember, the fallout from Michael Jordan calling out Andre Iguodala is far from over. The reactions, the tensions, and the debates over respect and legacy are just beginning to surface. What was said, and what was left unsaid, could reshape how fans view not just Iguodala, but the way basketball honors its legends. If you want every reaction, every behind-the-scenes perspective, and the full story as this controversy unfolds, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The next revelation could change everything.